once we hear from these two great candidates to my right. So to get started off, my name is Ben Hasecam. I'm the chair of the 7th Congressional District Republican Committee. What does that mean? We're just here to try to help Republicans win elections. So I'm glad to be here today. I'm going to be your moderator for tonight's event. The main event, we've got two stocky middleweights. Just kidding. So we're going to be opening up tonight with a prayer and a pledge. So for the pledge, Mr. T. McGarity, would you please open us up with the pledge? Allegiance. Take your time.
I will, because the flag deserves it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Timu. So Timu is part of our caucus team here. So if you have any questions about running for office for the House of Delegates, he's the guy to ask. Sorry, Timu, just putting you on. Next up, Mr. Todd Sanson, could you please lead us with a prayer?
Let's bow our heads. Father God, your word teaches us to bring our praise before we bring our needs, and we bring our praise to you tonight for this beautiful evening, for this country that we live in, for the Commonwealth of Virginia, for the leadership that we have had since their inception. Thank you for the Constitution and the founding documents that guide our way and guide us to this place tonight as we look to choose the best candidate to represent the 62nd District of Virginia. We just ask you to bless this evening, Father God, with an informative time with these candidates, and may the people that are gathered here tonight, may they learn a lot, may they find that we have two fantastic options, Lord, and may they, the best emerge for this group tonight. And we just give all of this up in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. All right, I'm also going to start off by introducing our panelists. So these are the folks that have helped kind of assemble the questions that were submitted by you all, by members of our committees, into the questions that we will then be asking tonight. So start off on the far side is Jacob Alderman. He's the Prince William chairman for the Republican Committee in Prince William. And today is his birthday. And now we're going to sing happy birthday to Jacob. So will you all join me? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jacob. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations, Jacob. And thank you for serving. And today's his 21st birthday. Yes, he's drinking alcohol tonight. So next up, we have our vice chair here in Orange County, Gary McFadden. Unfortunately, it is not Gary's birthday today. And last but not least, your state central member and also a resident here in Orange County, Laird Knights. The only one that wanted to look as sharp as I am today. So thank you, Laird. Appreciate it. All right, now our two candidates tonight. I'm going to start off with my left and then go right. So first off, we have Karen Hamilton, right here in Orange County. And then we also have Clay Jackson. He's a supervisor in Madison County. And I did a coin flip, and congratulations, Karen. You're going to go first with your opening, and then you also go second with your closing, if that's okay with you both. All right, great, Karen. Would you like to use the podium? Okay, you're good.
Is this okay here? Medium? Okay. All right, well, as he said, I'm Karen Hamilton, and I'm from right down the road here in Orange County, and it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. I'm a Christian, I'm a military wife, I'm a mother of 3 wonderful children, and I'm an engineer. I'm so sorry, I lost my train of thought. I apologize, it's okay. Our family weathered 4 deployments while my husband served as a Navy SEAL. We understand the cost of freedom and the sacrifice required to keep it. I'm running for office to protect the freedoms that my children are set to inherit. I'm not a politician climbing a political ladder. I'm a mother who refuses to co-parent with the government. I'm running to secure the blessings of liberty for my children. I ask for your support in the primary on June 17th. It'd be an honor to represent here in the 62nd District. Thank you.
Well, I am Clay Jackson. And thank you all for coming. Thank you for having me and my wife Kathleen, who has been with me about a month now, even through all this craziness, and she's still here, so that's a big perk. I am a beef farmer. I run about 1,300 head, predominantly stocker cattle. Also own the sale barn in Madison, where we sell cattle from all over the state of Virginia. I started my political camp life years ago, 16 years ago, I guess, with being on the planning commission for 4 years. Kind of gave me a good direction, went to a lot of board of supervisors meetings. Now I've been on the board of supervisors for 12 years, 10 of which I've been chairman and currently am. Our big direction in Madison is common sense, which actually is kind of uncommon sense anymore. We do things in a simple way. Our budget is zero-based, needs-based. It is the only direction we go. I've been told, I understand education, public safety, infrastructure, all being core functions of government. And I've been told that I should add, we are in Madison very big on problem solving and coming up with a solution and moving on. I've been told that I'm supposed to tell you about how Madison became a 2A county, sanctuary county. Saw it on Facebook. We contacted the person that was putting it out, said that we'd love to do this. Contacted the Republican Party that had a resolution for us. We modified it slightly for Madison. There you go. Slightly for Madison. It took 10 minutes to vote in. Madison became 2A immediately. Thank you all for having me.
Oh, okay, we have a timekeeper. Okay, here, I think we're good. Okay.
Oh, okay. You took it.
1 minute. And 2 minutes. Perfect. You guys got that? In my enthusiasm to get rolling tonight, I actually forgot to open up with the rules. So I'm going to do a quick bridge rules for you guys, just so you all know what the expectation is going on from here on out. So first off, this forum is issues focused. So we're focused on getting those issues in front of the voters, the issues that matter. All candidates will be treated equally in terms of time, format, and opportunity to respond. Civility is expected at all times. Personal attacks, name calling, interruptions will not be tolerated. Candidate participation. The candidates were both here on time tonight, so I'm not going to dive into that. Time allotments, opening and closing will be 2 minutes per candidate. Question and responses will be 2 minutes per question. Rebuttal will be 1 minute, only if another candidate directly references you during their previous answer. And then we have a timekeeper right here to keep the time for us. It will mark with 1 minute, 30 seconds. Thank you, sir. Questions may only be submitted in writing by attendees or pre-submitted online. Questions will be screened by our nonpartisan, well, they're all kind of partisan, but they're not in anyone's camp tonight. Committee for Clarity, Civility, and Relevance. The panel will be asked to select questions that reflect a range of voter interests and concerns, and duplicate or leading questions will be removed from the questions tonight. I'm the panel moderator. I'll be a neutral moderator for you all. I think that's pretty much it, actually. Oh, audience participation. So please, guys, from here on out until the end of the closing, I say you guys can applaud at the end of the closing, but please, nothing from the audience tonight, no applauses, no booing, no hissing, nothing mean. So it was all applauses then from this point on until the very end. So after each one does their closing remarks, then you guys can applaud at that time. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So now, and we're also going to do a break 40 minutes in, so in roughly 35 minutes we'll do a break so everyone can stretch your legs and get some water and all of that too. Candidates, are you ready? All right, our first question tonight. What are the most critical issues facing the Virginia General Assembly, and what do you hope to be able to do about them? And we'll start with Clay for this one, and then go to you, Karen, second. Is that okay?
Sure.
The critical issues are representation back to the citizen base. We all want to talk about abortion, which I'm pro-life. Heard Mr. Scott in this room a couple weeks ago talk about 15 weeks or less. Certainly we go with that. Go down the path on use the bathroom from the sex that you're originally at birth from. The big one, I think, though, is citizen representation. And then working that citizen participation down to the local level. And then that's where the focus needs to be. We need to understand all the issues and constraints that we have here in Central Virginia, since we are kind of just lumped into Nova. We have far different issues here than Nova or Charlottesville. We are a rural locality. Our whole district is rural. The state has kind of left us out a little bit. I think that the focus needs to go back to the citizens, and we need to be getting a little more from the state.
Well, the main pressing issues facing the Commonwealth right now are the overreach of our individual liberties. The government is infringing on our Second Amendment rights, our property rights, and our parental rights. Additionally, we're facing 3 constitutional amendments. That's a very uncommon thing, and yet we have 3 in one session. The first one is the right to an abortion, which would allow women to have an abortion at any time for any reason up until the moment of birth. It would also allow young children without parental consent to receive an abortion. The second one is constitutional rights given to convicted felons immediately after they're done serving their sentence. That means that convicted felons would have more rights than unborn children. The last one is the marriage amendment. For the longest time, our country has recognized marriage as God did, between a man and a woman. Our state wants to now change that to be between 2 adults. I would stand against all 3 of those amendments, and those are the most pressing issues from the get-go, and then from then on, our government going after our constitutional rights, which they're supposed to uphold.
Thank you both for your responses. Moving on to our next question. And this time we'll reverse the order, so every question will reverse who goes first, who goes second. What strategies would you implement in Richmond to assist the citizens of your district in reducing their tax burdens? So we'll start with you, Karen, this time, and go to Clay.
Well, we need to stop spending so much money so that we can reduce our tax burdens. I think government is used to taking a loaf of bread from us and then throwing a few crumbs back every now and then and expecting us to be happy with that. We need to look for opportunities to cut taxes across the board because frankly our small businesses are overtaxed, our households are overtaxed, and every year it seems to be climbing. We must stop the overspending. We've got to do a DOGE sort of thing that the federal government is doing and look line by line, agency by agency, and see where the wasteful spending is occurring, because not every dollar spent in Richmond is going to something that it should be going to. It's not blessing the lives of our people, and quite frankly, you can spend your money better than any other politician can or should.
At the local level, we are zero-based budgets. And there is no wants, it is all needs. We've watched what President Trump has done with the federal government in downsizing government, which I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like it before. Certainly need to have the same type of expectations at the state level, the county levels. We are scraping by. It is cuts to essential services is where Madison County is. I can't imagine that the other localities are much different. Our tax rate is second lowest in comparison to versus Culpeper. Culpeper's like 3 times as large. We go through every line of our budget one by one and analyze if that is well spent monies from the taxpayer. We need to be doing the exact same thing at the state of Richmond, and efficiencies only help the private sector in every way.
Fantastic. So our next question goes to the type of campaigns you're planning on running. Why are you more electable than your opponent? And this time we'll start with Clay and Karen.
this is my home. My neighborhood is getting a little bit bigger. I've invested my life into Madison County and this part of Central Virginia. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going down the negative path. I told Karen right before we started, everybody's all concerned about the Democrats. I've been going to all the Republican meetings. They're doing a bad enough job themselves. We don't need to be fighting them. We need to focus on unity from the Republican Party for the state of Virginia so we don't lose the gains that we've made with Governor Youngkin at this point. We must have that unity. Winston Sears said at the Culpeper event, unity, unity. It is important. Karen and I fighting each other, that certainly is contrary to everything that I believe in. And we need to keep this up and up so that we can be successful in Richmond with moving forward in the next election.
Well, I've been told I'm a fresh voice and a fresh face for the district, and I certainly think that's true. I personally believe we need a few more mama bears in Richmond to hold the line for our kids, because our kids have come under attack. The policies from the left endanger our children, and I'm running a kind of campaign that's going to stand our ground for our children and really protect the future for each of them. I agree with Clay, we need to have unity in our party, and I certainly don't plan on attacking in any personal way. I hope you guys are able to see that in both of us, and that we can move forward in unity in our party, because we need it across the board in the Commonwealth.
Thank you, team, for this great next question. In a house divided, we know that working across party lines is important. Do we? Okay. Give an example of how you have or plan to work with Dems to achieve goals for constituents. And this time we'll start with Karen and then Clay.
Well, I'm probably going to be a little bit more of a polarizing person, because I've got some strong opinions on some of the social issues. But there are other issues that I'm very much engaged in as well. My background is in structural engineering, and I plan on using that skill set to bring some practical solutions to the infrastructure needs in our state. One of the main things I'm concerned about are our rising energy prices. We need to unleash energy here in the Commonwealth in all forms so that we can lower the costs of our businesses and the expenses within our household budgets and bless everybody in the Commonwealth. I think this is something I can work across the island, and I look forward to doing so.
Local politics is a little bit different. I've ran as an independent 5 times now, got real good at losing the first 2 times in my 20s, and in my 30s, 3 times I've been elected. The big thing that I push on and I work with people is that I'm listening to what they have to say. And then I'm a professional haggler. I am a cattle trader. That's all we do is trade and negotiate. With that, I think that I can be listening and constructive and come up with plans that are sensible, fact-based, that do cross over the lines for the 62nd District and for the whole state of Virginia. Very few things in my business or in local government, very few things are black and white. Most things operate in the gray area. We educate ourselves, we do research on multiple scenarios. All of these different things are what you have to put together to come to these good decisions for your constituents. Working with Democrats at the state level, I've dealt with some of them in Loudoun County, and that's a crazy bunch. But there is sensible people out there. We just have to do a good job and convince them that our way is the right way.
Thank you both. So our next question is going to be about energy, which will definitely be a major issue going into the next decade. What is your position on the future of the use of nuclear energy in and around HD 62? Sir, Clay.
I was super glad to hear about this. Karen and I talked about this, I think, at the Republican Women last week. Nuclear is the future. It has been misconstrued by the media in every way about the safety concerns. We are certainly past Chernobyl's time and 3 Mile Island. Enriching yellowcake uranium from 235 to 238 is exceedingly interesting. We're seeing these smaller nuclear reactors that can be popped up in a much more efficient way than some of the larger scale facilities that are out there now. We know about at Lake Anna, they're adding a reactor. Understand that Amazon's got some issues down there with water. Nuclear is certainly the way, natural gas is the way, especially with pipelines that are already in place. And on top of that, fossil fuels aren't going anywhere. Solar is a whole different beast. We must keep the solar decision at the local level. It has to stay there. The idea of the state is just saying, wherever you want to put solar, that's inappropriate in the wrong decision. You want to put them in parking lots, you want to put them on top of buildings, that's one thing. Seeing what they do to farmland and just stripping it off, and then using keywords like FFA and we're going to put sheep under it, it looks like a shell game to me. It is inappropriate use of land, and it will curtail the way of life that we have here in Central Pitt.
Well, I totally agree with everything Clay said, and unfortunately, we've got Democrats that are hell-bent on making solar and wind turbines the way forward, even though they cannot supply the amount that we need in our state, and that's why we're importing 40% of our electricity from across state lines. And go figure, we're getting that electricity from fossil sources across state lines, and meanwhile, we could be providing jobs in our own state. And we could do it with clean energy, we could do it with nuclear, but we should also bring back coal and natural gas. We still need all forms of energy, and these energies create jobs. We've got a natural gas plant in Gordonsville, I believe, and then also the Lake Anna nuclear plant there. But we need to expand energy in Virginia. We need to make energy cheaper, and it will bless the lives of every single person.
Thank you both. This next question is very close to my heart because right now me and my wife are looking at moving to another house. So what steps would you take to increase the opportunities for affordable housing? We'll start with Karen.
Well, you know, the housing market's very difficult for young couples especially. I think one thing we need to do is look at our, tax rates across the board, not just property taxes at the local level, but the ways that people are having a hard time managing their budget in general. We need to be looking for ways to make the market easy to get into for new house buyers. I would like to lower the taxes across the board, and I would also like to open up opportunities for young entrepreneurs to get their foot in the door to make themselves successful.
Housing is a challenging thing. Madison, we've had very little growth over years, and a main contributor to that is lack of sewer treatment. Orange, we know, has got a lot of growth. Culpeper certainly does, and Green. For 20 years, I've been hearing about the encroachment onto Madison County, and we are about to see some larger developments comes in. I've seen numbers on low-income housing. It never pays for itself when it pertains to services rendered. The other side on housing is the services that are going to be needed from the locality for the people to live there. I think the big one, taxes I don't see, and everybody hates taxes, everybody. In the grand scheme of things, I don't see that as the inhibiting factor on people moving to this part of the world. I think people see the value and the quality of life we have here, and that's a major, major draw. There is also kind of the self-reliant attitude of people in the 62nd District. It is a positive thing that we talk about. I think the value here is certainly the quality of life. The housing we saw in Madison, we just did a reassessment after 6 years. We did equalize the rate by state law, which we were required to do, certainly, and it's responsible. But those houses over the since COVID, people are just grabbing them up as fast as they can. And there must be a reason that they're grabbing them up, especially with interest rates as high as they are. There is something special about this part of the world. Keeping it special is something that all of us elected officials are tasked to do, and I plan on.
Thank you both. So I'm sure you both heard the rallying cry, don't California, my Virginia. What steps would you take or policies would you support to prevent Virginia from becoming more like blue states like California and New York? And we'll start with Clay.
We need to remember who we work for. We work for the citizen base. That's the direction we have to go. Building codes are certainly all formed in California, and they're coming this direction. They are becoming more and more onerous, and that's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We have different type of construction and geological challenges here than California certainly does. We need to be reasonable in the requirements that we put in place from the legislative side, and we cannot make it so that there is an overly burdensome kind of issues, regulations across the board for the citizens. The idea that, California's got some of the craziest laws out there. This is not what we need to be doing here in Virginia. We need to keep our heads about us and remember that the citizens that are here, we're not supposed to just be pushing them into corners and making hard decisions for them.
Yeah, well, those are two blue states, and that's the very reason why people are leaving them, because those policies don't bless the lives of people. The taxes are too high, the overregulation is burdensome to businesses, parental rights are not respected, people feel endangered because crime and chaos is in the streets. In order to prevent ourselves from being like California and New York, we need to elect conservatives in office, strong conservatives that stand for law and order, that lower taxes, and respect the rights of citizens, and swear to actually uphold the Constitution like they're supposed to. We need a Republican governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and all the way down the line.
Thank you both. The next question turns towards the two-way issue. What sort of laws would you author regarding our rights to self-defense as stated in the Second Amendment? And we'll start with Karen and we'll go to Frank.
Well, I'm honored to have been endorsed by Nick Freitas, and one of the things we both agree on is that our Second Amendment right shall be upheld 100% and not infringed. I plan to carry constitutional carry legislation. I don't see any reason why, if we say we're going to uphold the Constitution, that shouldn't be a no-brainer. Every single person elected to office takes an oath to uphold the Constitution, and yet they go there and they think of 25 ways to infringe upon our Second Amendment rights. Thankfully, we had Governor Youngkin veto these things, but we may not be so lucky this next time. We need strong constitutional 2A fighters, and I plan to be one of those.
I told you in my opening about how easy it was for Madison to become a two-way county. We certainly, from the Board of Supervisors side, see the Constitution is certainly above us. No offense, certainly above both of us here. Any infringement upon the Constitution is just ridiculous. Gun rights are something that has been since the founding of the country, have no issue supporting any kind of legislation that prohibits any kind of restriction to citizens pertaining to gun rights. Criminals don't need guns. Law-abiding citizens shouldn't have to go through additional regulation just so they can own guns. The majority of people, a lot of the people I deal with in Madison are responsible gun owners and have had guns since they were little kids and view them like, I'm not a hunter, I've got boys that hunt on my farm, I know there's some competitive shooters, that's great. I view guns as more of a tool. In the farming community, that is the way we view them. We are not accurate at all, but we will scare them to death with it. It's something going down the path of regulating guns to good citizens. We must stand up against it in every front.
Thank you both. I know it says if, but more appropriately, when you get elected and you can author and pass 3 bills immediately, what would those 3 bills be? We'll start with Clay and then go to Karen.
That worked out well. I'm just going to say say it like it is. I don't have a good answer for this. I don't. I look at the local side of things. I think we have leadership in Richmond right now that I'm hoping will help me become more educated on such things. I talk about compromise and talking with the opposing party. We certainly do not have to waive our morals and values that we have. It's something that I'll go down there, I will represent, I do know who I work for. I don't have a whole lot of answers on what bills I would certainly introduce the first three. It's a very good question, hopefully Karen does better than me.
Are these bills that we think would actually pass, or we would idealistically?
This is your dream bill.
Okay, well, constitutional carry, I already said that one. 100% protection of life of unborn children in the womb. And then the last one would be school choice. I want educational freedom in the state.
Three terrific answers. So moving on, don't worry, Clay, this one's actually more for you. Should you run into an issue that is new or you don't understand, who is the first person you would call? We'll start with Karen.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to him first. I wasn't even listening.
I apologize, Karen, don't worry, I'll repeat it. I meant more that you were so spot on the last question. I'm sure Clay's going to nail this one. Should you run into an issue that is new to you or you don't understand, who is the first person you would call?
I'd have to say my husband. He's brilliant. I'd call my husband first. I'd probably call Nick Frady second because he's been doing this job a long time. But honestly, I want to talk to the constituents in this district. I would try to surround myself with experts on every single issue because it's impossible to know everything about every single issue, and there are so many wise and talented people in this district that are eager to share their concerns, and so I would have an open ear for each and every one of you.
I have to be on the same path as Karen, and I talk to my wife every day. It's my pleasure. I have a great family that looks at things in the right ways. And then the most interesting part of running for this primary, and then relations that I've had with, in most cases, businesses that I do business with. I have just a wealth of people that are way smarter than me, that do support me, that I can go to anytime, that answer my phone calls. They know about things. Building up that network and that phone book and what used to say was Rolodex, having those people at a finger's tip, it is invaluable. I mean, these are people that have been in business for years and years. They know the challenges, they know the struggles, they've seen the hard times, they've put in the hours. They have answers for me, and they are willing to share them, which is super complimentary. And it's like an honor. I go to where people that know things and know them well and think things out the right way. That's who I reach out to.
Fantastic. So 4 years ago, education was a major issue in this race, in both House of Delegates as well as for the governorship 4 years ago. How will you support public education and defend parents' rights? We'll start with Clay and then Karen.
I've been telling this story lately. I think we definitely all should pay attention to COVID, but I'm tired of talking about COVID. I remember all about it. Don't want to do that again, but I'm tired of talking about it. Prior to COVID, we were seeing education. I think I've missed 5 or 6 school board meetings as the liaison in 12 years. I go because I'm concerned about the money. They give a lot of awards to everybody, and that is wonderful. I'm glad that people are doing that. That's not the reason I'm there. I want to see the monetary policy that goes along with education. Before COVID, we were seeing education at the public level where they were starting to identify that kids learn in different ways. It was it was a good direction to go because you were trying to figure out what makes these kids tick, to find the most constructive way to educate them, and then send them out in the real world to be contributing members of society. After COVID, we all know, and education was very, very challenging. And in a lot of cases where the schools unfortunately are viewed as babysitting. Parents weren't doing the best job. So schools, public schools really had to come back, revamp, try to get everybody back on the same page and get them working on a baseline. That generic approach can only go so far. We must focus on the core curriculum. But now I see, going to school board meetings, I see that education going back to that individualized style and really focusing on people's strengths, which is, or student strengths, which is where we need to be doing, and we need to get them out there for everybody's benefit, is what it really boils down to.
Well, education is an issue I'm passionate about because many of the problems that we see in our society, our culture, and the things we're battling politically were born out of our educational systems that we allowed to be taken over by leftists. And now the chickens have come home to roost, and we don't like what we see. And if we want to win this battle, we've got to win it the hard way and fight the long game in the schools. So I would like to, of course, support our public schools. We've got great teachers, we've got great kids. My mother was a teacher, my sister-in-law was a teacher. Our teachers need to be paid well. They need to feel like they're valued in society and be paid at a wage that communicates that. I think our administrative states are bloated. We see just right down the road here in Orange County, you used to be able to fit all the administration in a building the size of a house. Now they're taking up an entire school. So we obviously have a problem there. The dollars aren't making it into the classroom. Additionally, I want to open up educational freedom. Public school doesn't work for every kid. There are kids with educational challenges, learning disabilities. Some kids are being bullied. Some kids would just rather be home. I'm a homeschool mom. I love spending my days with my kids, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's not for everybody, but I would like to open it up so that everybody has that opportunity. We don't need a one-size-fits-all approach in education. We need freedom.
Great answers on education, you both. So this will be our last question before we're going to take a 10-minute break. So could you provide one example of how you have served the people of this district? We'll start with Karen. And then
Sorry, I keep on tuning out.
No, you're fine. I get it.
Yeah, I just spoke.
I'm very monotone. I hear that all the time. My wife complains about it. It's okay. Could you provide one example of how you have served the people of this district? That's it. It's very simple.
Well, back to education. One of the things I've tried to do to serve this district is show up at school board meetings and support our conservative school board members that are fighting for our kids. We're blessed to have three, well, we just lost one that had to resign, but we had three great conservative school board members. I was happy to be there to speak out on issues that they needed support in. Additionally, I started a Moms for America group. Like I said, I'm in this for the kids. And I'm also involved in my church. You know, my faith is a huge part of my life. I think we need more people in government that have a strong faith in God. It's what our country was built on, and that's a way I like to serve and give back to our area.
I've kind of got a two-part deal. From the private sector, I hope that I'm serving with my cattle company in Auction Barn in partnership with Virginia Cattle. I'm hoping that I do a fairly good job marketing cattle from Central Virginia, and that's from farmers in this district and farther away. I sit in meetings for the Board of Supervisors a lot of weeks, 4 nights a week. I've gone through every topic under the sun, some very humorous, and I try to represent Madison the best that I can. Dealt with federal agencies, dealt with state agencies. Last year, a year and a half ago, we had the devastating fires that were at the base of Old Drag and Grays Mountain Lodge. I was up there every day of the week with a bunch of bear hunters, who turns out were great people. And they were up there every day with me because we were doing what was best for Madison County. And relaying the message out to the whole community of what is actually going on so they don't have to rely on just Facebook rumors and everything. I hope that I've served the citizens of Madison in a good way. I think we've put the county in a positive position, both financially and service-oriented, even being such a base. We've certainly enhanced our EMS coverage, going from ALS, which is advanced life support, that is kind of the standard at this point across the district. We have positive response times. Keeping those things going is challenging. Having the right people in place, which we've done in Madison, certainly makes things easier.
Fantastic. Now we're going to take a quick break. Can we give a round of applause for our speakers? Alright, now you guys need to stretch your legs. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So please get some food from the back, get some water, get some soda, use the restroom. And please submit more questions. They're in the back.
You haven't done anything. Oh, good. I guess I'm going to have a question. I did.
sock him,
I did. You may want
cuff him up, take him out, put him in